Oh boy, this is not going to be confrontational at all, is it? The new Snow White is here, and some corners of the internet have decided that it is the end of Western civilization as we know it. So before we actually get into the review itself, let's just get a few things straight. I'm not being paid by any big studios to write this, because that seems to be the boring soundbite being regurgitated by some people. Oh, you're saying something positive. You're clearly paid. Yeah. Shut up, you fucking child. I have mixed feelings about this movie, both good and bad, and I'm going to go into those. And before we go into that, let's actually break down my feelings on Zegler and the whole CGI dwarf thing so that people don't have some sort of agenda about what I'm going to say for the review itself. As I said, I'm sure it's not going to be confrontational at all. First, Rachel Zegler. Let's not pretend she made a good first impression. I mean, you're starring in a Disney movie, the Hollywood actors and writers strikes happen, and you have the gall to moan about how you're being paid to stand around all day in a Disney dress?
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Brilliant PR, that. Entitled? Yeah, a little bit. It's almost like we have to remind Mrs. Zegler that the strike wasn't about for the multi-millionaires like her who get to be in the lead roles. It was for the working actors, the extras, the people who don't get credited, the backup dancers, the people who still, like her, have to show up on set, do a full day, stand around waiting, and not get paid the same multi-million dollars that she earns. She's out collecting paychecks, making these statements.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937. She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
It's no longer 1937, and we wrote a Snow White movie that's not going to be saved by the prince. Take what you will from that. This whole package doesn't create the right impression, and certainly doesn't endear me towards her. Then there's Peter Dinklage. Yes, the man who took it upon himself to stand on his soapbox and proclaim that for decades he had been moving mountains to make sure the dwarf actors would not have to resort to playing little bearded dwarves under the mountains again. And in doing so, this is offensive to dwarf actors. So instead of giving 7 actual dwarf actors the opportunity to be in a huge Disney movie, and maybe we discover the next Peter Dinklage. No. Disney just CG'd them out. Brilliant. But we'll come on to the dwarves a bit later. And, of course, the real culture war bait. Rachel Zegler's ethnicity. People losing their minds because a Latina actress is playing Snow White, while conveniently ignoring the fact that she's half Polish. Yeah, her dad's Polish. The irony, if anything, that makes her even more European than Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen. She's Israeli, so, we don't speak bad about that in the current climate, do we? Nah, let's turn our attention to the half-Polish girl. Okay, good job, internet. Keep telling yourself this is about accuracy. Anyway, now that you know what my real feelings are about all of this culture war BS, now I can talk about the actual damn movie. I mean, let's be real. Snow White was doomed before it even hit theaters for all of the things I've just said and for people's very varying takes upon them. You've all already decided what you think about this movie without even having seen it. It's almost like this review's a waste of time. But it turns out it's exactly what I expected. The first 20 minutes, absolute filler, a dragged out backstory that nobody needed. We all know who Snow White is. We don't need an extended prologue explaining it like it's Lord of the Rings. The ending? It completely changed, and not for the better. I won't spoil it, but yeah, it did not land for me. The music, I'll be real, Zegler can sing, man. The girl's got pipes for days. The girl can sing, and well. But the new songs just don't hit. And don't even get me started on Gal Gadot's number. Painful. And the woke agenda. Okay, beyond Rachel Zegler. You know what's so funny while I was watching this movie? There are black people in this movie. There are non-white people in this movie. And every time I saw them on screen, I was like, oh my god, the internet's gonna have a field day with this. I mean, notably, the huntsman, he's black. The huntsman is black. And so what? Are we seriously doing this thing that every time a non-white actor appears on screen, we have a field day? 2025, man. Frickin' grow up. The visuals look poor quality. The sets look like they were low budget. Everything just didn't feel right. The costumes felt like bad cosplay. There was an overall really weird aesthetic with this movie that didn't work for me. The acting. Godot as the evil queen. Not really convincing. Zegler as Snow White, also not really convincing. The whole movie felt like I was watching actors perform instead of getting lost in the characters. But you see, even that I'll defend, because they weren't really given something great to work with. This is such lowest common denominator stuff that it's like, well, you can't polish a turd, man. Like, it's just not a great script. Obviously, the actors aren't going to get much out of it. And the big scenes in the movie, I mean, without going into detail, like the huntsman when he tries to murder Snow White and then lets her go. It just felt soulless. It didn't feel dramatic like it did in the 37 movie. The poison apple scene, it did not work. They stretch it out. They add in this expositionary dialogue, and you end up just being like, oh my god, can she just please bite the apple and move on to the next scene now? And it's like, that shouldn't be the feeling in a big important moment like that. Completely soulless. The dwarves, though. Okay, brace yourselves. I did not hate them. CGI or not, this actually worked. If they had been real actors, I actually think it would have felt a bit awkward and exploitative. Such was the depiction of the dwarves in this movie. Literal cartoons. But as cartoons, it fits. It weirdly works. Probably more so than with human actors. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I started the review by condemning the actions of Peter Dinklage. But hell, I'm a big enough man to say, do you know what? Such was the presentation of dwarves in this movie. I actually think Dinklage was correct. And listen, if you've been listening to the channel over the course of the last 12 months, AJ and I have very strong feelings about the damage Peter Dinklage did to the options for dwarf actors in the industry. But if they're being presented like this, maybe he's got a point. Hell, look, I'm here saying, look, I got this one wrong. The dwarves oddly worked. I challenge anyone to not be charmed by Dopey. Dopey ruled in this movie. Really sweet little character. And then there's the one thing that nobody wants to hear. The most crucial thing that nobody wants to talk about because it will bring your world crashing down. None of this actually matters. Snow White is a kid's movie. That's it. That's the whole point. All this rage, all these arguments, and in the end, the movie is for 8-year-olds. Not the culture war, not Twitter fights, just kids. And I don't mean the way that a Pixar movie is made for both adults, because it's got, deeper themes like in Inside Out, but it can also be for kids because, pretty colors and animation. There are obviously animations which are made for both parents and kids, adults and children. This is so clearly made for kids exclusively that it just kind of destroys any culture war surrounding it. It almost ignores all of that, and it's like, we're a kids movie. Only a kids movie. We're not even trying to bait you in with nostalgia. We're not even trying to get your bum in the seat because you may love the original. This is just a new Snow White, and we are making it exclusively for the kids. That's it. Do you know what my 3-year-old is going to think about this? She's going to love it. I went to see it last night, and I'm going to take her again today. I was kind of vetting it for her to make sure there wasn't anything too scary or intense in it. She's not aware of the culture wars. She's not aware of the propaganda, the politics, the alleged miscasting or appropriate casting. None of that matters. It's something she loves from a cartoon being put on the big screen in a live action capacity. She's going to freaking love it. And for that reason, it's worth the second price of admission. And all of this stuff doesn't freaking matter because it's a children's movie. If you are a parent, I'd probably go as far as to say that this movie's worth a 6 out of 10 but I think you add a few points on because you're going to see the wonder of your little kid being like, oh my God, it's the dwarves. Oh my God, it's Snow White on a big screen capacity. They're going to be charmed and in awe by it. As an adult, I don't think very much of this movie. I'm going to give Snow White, for me personally, without factoring in the experience that I'm going to have with my child. For me personally, the movie's a 5 out of 10. Look, if you're a fully formed adult foaming at the mouth over a kid's movie, a movie where CGI animals literally wave at you, then I genuinely feel sorry for you. This movie is about being kind and about how real beauty comes from within. And yet here we are, grown men and women having full-on meltdowns because Snow White has a tan. Do I think this is a good movie? No, it's just fine. It's another soulless Disney remake, no better or worse than any of the other soulless Disney live-action remakes. But guess what? It's not the end of the world, and it's not the crumbling of Western civilization. If you're over 8 years old and still getting worked up about it, maybe, just maybe, go touch some grass. So those are my final thoughts on Snow White. Listen, nothing I say matters, as I said. You've made up your opinion. Whether you see it or don't, I'm sure you're going to in some way chastise me in the comments and accuse me of every single stupid thing under the sun. He was paid. Oh, he's woke. Oh, he's anti-woke. Oh, he's I don't care. I've told you where I stand on it all, and I've told you my stance on the culture wars, and I've told you my stance on the movie itself. It ain't great, but it's also beyond insignificantly harmless because it's a kid's movie. So you do you, be angry at the world. I'm going to go watch it a second time, and I'm going to go give my daughter an amazing experience that when she grows up, she'll remember and say, Daddy, remember that time you took me to the cinema. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing. At the risk of opening up the floodgates, over to you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. I'd say keep it nice, but I know it's not going to be nice. So until next time, I'm Nicolero from the Silver Screen Dudes. Let's move on from this to the next movie. Let's still love cinema, long love cinema, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.